everybody. Welcome to the official Queen of the Ring WrestleMania 40 prediction show. I'm Alex Lajas, and joining me today is the exquisite Ella
Exquisite.
J.
I
Yeah.
love it. Hello. Thank you. I'm so happy. It's been a long time since we've recorded something, so I'm so glad to be back with you on screen.
And I wore a Shawn Michaels shirt for you.
You did. You did. I wore more of a Pride rainbow shirt, but I should have worn Shawn Michaels because Mr. WrestleMania.
It's okay. We're gay, so it's
Yeah.
fine. But we're here. We're going to predict WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. We are filming this on Monday before Monday Night Raw. This is out on Wednesday. So if there's any additional matches that have come up and we missed it, sorry. we'll probably put our predictions over on social media.
Yeah.
But Ella, 40 years of WrestleMania. How are we feeling?
It's crazy. For me, this will be the 15th WrestleMania that I guess no, yeah, 15th WrestleMania that I've seen, so I've been there for a good portion of them, but 40 years is absolutely crazy. And with it being 40 years, there's reports and rumors of surprise appearances from certain people, which I'm sure we'll talk about once we get to a certain match. I'm excited for that. That's kind of what I expect. And there's a lot of Hall of Famers and legends going to be in town anyways. So obviously there's going to be a lot of surprises in addition to the card that's already been announced. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see Bull Nakano get inducted
Yeah.
into the Hall of Fame. She makes her entrance out for night one. I'm predicting also night two for all of the Hall of Famers. Paul Heyman getting some love as well. I did hear some rumors about some previous superstars coming through, some glass shattering, possibly.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But it's 40 years of WrestleMania. I am so excited. So we have a long list because there's two
We
nights.
do.
So let's get into it, dissect everything we need to do. So let's start off with the first couple matches that were announced, new ones that were announced last week on SmackDown, which is Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee facing off against Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar. Personally, it's a cute match. I don't know how I feel about it just because Dominic Mysterio has been doing a good job over at the Judgment Day. So him returning to this feud, don't know how to feel. My prediction is possibly Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee are going to win. So they'll have that moment. Rey Mysterio beating his son's ass yet again at WrestleMania for 2 years in a row. Ella, how are we feeling about this one?
See, I'm the opposite because Rey Mysterio has already beat his son's ass last year, and I think for Dominic to come over to Santos, he kind of has to. I mean, it makes sense why he did, but for them to pull him away from the Judgment Day picture to go back against his dad, I don't think this is an opportunity to have Dominic lose again. I do think obviously it's going to be a lot of fun to see his dad beat his ass again, but I do think if you're wanting to get the newer stars, the less established names in Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio over more, I think this would be a way to make them shine. And also, there's been a little bit of a tease that Carlito might turn on Rey and Dragon because it looked like Carlito was expecting Rey to say himself as his WrestleMania partner, but instead it's Dragon Lee. So there's still that looming possibility that maybe Carlito would be kind of turning on Rey and Dragon Lee, leading to a Dominic and Santos victory. That's also another possibility. But regardless, I think that the right call would be to have Dominic and Santos win here in order to get them over more.
I think that changed my mind. Because I did miss the element of Carlito and Carlito turning and getting his moment. We need him spitting in the faces of people that don't think they're cool. So I think that could be a possibility. I think for me, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, I feel like it would just put an end to everything. But there's also the element of Carlito. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. I would love to see this match possibly night 2. for WrestleMania.
Yeah, it depends because there's another reported, multi-man match that hasn't been official yet with the involving the Street Profits and Bobby, and then Karrion Cross and the Authors of Pain. So I think, assuming that that is made official, I think they're going to put them on different nights. I don't know what night it's going to be. But I think night 2 would suit them because we saw them on night 1 last year, I believe.
Yeah.
So why not go night 2? It also depends too where they're going to put Damian Priest and Finn Balor, the Judgment Day. So I don't know. Are they going to put them on the same night? And
This is true.
also Rhea Ripley. Don't know yet.
This is true. This is true. We might get a night 1 all Judgment
Yeah.
Day, or splitting up night 1 and night 2. So gonna have to see where the placement is for that. Now let's move on to another match that was announced on SmackDown. I am very excited for this match. It is Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi versus Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. So I do believe that Bianca Belair, Jade, and Naomi are going to win this match. I like the story that's picking up with Damage Control overall with the women's division, especially with this, because you have Bianca Belair, who has been dealing with Damage Control for at least 2 years at this point, right? Years. And then Naomi's just entering the scene, and they've already been telling that story on SmackDown that Naomi wasn't here for everything, not here for like the torment that Damage Control was putting onto the entire women's division. And then we have Jade Cargill, who's going to have her WrestleMania moment. I think this is a great opportunity for her to shine more on a big show. We saw it at Royal Rumble. We're going to continue to see it all across the board when she's officially here. She is officially here. She's signed. She's on to SmackDown. But I think this story is this is almost I've seen some people online like there's not much of a story. I think the story is kind of like create your own character kind of thing, where it's like create your own story. This is it. Damage Control have been running house in the entire division. Bianca, Jade, and Naomi finally teaming up. Avengers Assemble to take out Dakota, who has finally returned, Asuka, and Kairi. And I think this would possibly be a good stepping stone towards a good direction, whether it's Bianca and Naomi or Jade. You can razzle dazzle in between. I think it'll be Bianca and Naomi finally moving on to face Kairi and Asuka for the women's tag team titles.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. It's Bianca is you're not gonna ruin. This is her first non-title. If we're excluding the battle royal from a couple of years ago, that because that was pre-show. If we're
Mm-hmm.
counting her WrestleMania, main show streak, this is her first really non-title match going in there. So of course you're gonna want to keep her strong, especially too with this being Jade Cargill's first WrestleMania and technically only second match in WWE unless they throw her in the deep end on SmackDown this week. We'll see. But this is her first WrestleMania. She had a strong showing at Rumble. She did not win. To keep her momentum going, you want to have her come in her WrestleMania debut victorious, and also Naomi's first WrestleMania coming back. Unfortunately, it is at the expense of Damage Control and Asuka, who I still don't think has had a WrestleMania win, unless I'm not thinking. Regardless, though, her showings at WrestleMania, a lot of people have pointed out that it's going to be another loss for Asuka, which I know that absolutely sucks. I want to see Asuka on the winning side of WrestleMania for once. But if there's anybody that can put over, like a newer person like Jade Cargill, I mean, Dakota Kai is an awesome seller. Obviously Asuka and Kairi are also veterans, so I think they're in good hands, and against really good people who can sell the baby faces going over. So I agree with you. I'm with the babyface team winning here.
I'm very excited for this match too. I think this is a really good match for the workers. Really, like any position of Damage Control. We'll get into it with Io Sky and Bailey as well, but
Mm-hmm.
this is the last minute announcement match that like kind of solidified and put a bow into my excitement going into WrestleMania. So I'm very
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's going to be a true test too for Jade as well to see how she is on WWE's grand stage.
yeah, and the entrances and the outfits. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Really, that's what I'm looking forward to the most with this match. So let's move on to a match that I am going to predict, a prediction within a prediction. This is the match that you're excited for, and it's the United States Championship with Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. And I'm honestly just saying that because of Randy Orton.
Yes. However, I do not think he should be in this match. I just, looking at this, it's obviously with the dynamics how they are. I think Logan Paul is going in there against two veterans. I think they're gonna want to. I think they're there to add leverage to Logan Paul's resume. He can beat. He can beat two veterans. I think Logan Paul is going to be retaining, which means it's going to be the third consecutive PLE that Randy Orton has lost. Granted, not, in singles competition, but it'll be the third PLE that Randy Orton is losing since coming back, which I do have an issue with. I think this match would have been better served with LA Knight in Randy Orton's place and Randy Orton in that match against AJ Styles. And I know Randy and AJ have faced off before at WrestleMania, but the roles are reversed this time where AJ's the heel and Randy's the face. So they could have done something. And I think if LA was in there, a lot of people were thinking that, this was the time to give LA Knight a championship, his first singles title on the main, actually his first title period on the main roster. I think this would have been the perfect way to do it, against a Logan Paul. We saw that in the lead up to Money in the Bank last year. They had some really good verbal segments in there that I think that they could revisit, and this would have been the time to. But for me, unfortunately, that's not the case. I do think that this triple threat is going to be, it's a good match. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens can put over Logan Paul. They're going to sell for him. Logan Paul can also do some cool stuff. But I think it would have been better served if you would have flip-flopped Orton and LA Knight, and then LA Knight wins. But in this dynamic with Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Logan Paul, I think Logan Paul is going to retain and unfortunately hand Randy Orton his third straight PLE loss. Not necessarily meaning Randy's going to be the one that gets pinned, but still, it is what it is.
Yeah. I want to say that Logan Paul is going to win this just cuz the United States Championship is not doing much on the roster, and even before Logan held it, it still wasn't doing much. He's at least making the title a little bit more relevant than it was
Yeah.
before. So for that reason, I see him retaining, getting a WrestleMania win, which would be shocking, but why not? It's
And
Logan Paul. He's done
and
other
his,
shocking
his logo
things.
of the Prime bottle. This is also going to be the first WrestleMania with the Prime bottle in the center of the ring. So,
That's right.
I mean, if you're sponsoring it, I think they're going to hand him a bone and have him retain. I will say, I mean, Logan Paul, he's kind of a little bit of a part-timer at this time, but he is really exciting to watch in the ring. And in this case, he will be the most high-flying competitor. So I'm interested to see how we've already seen him against Kevin Owens. KO's Rage is going to come back. I'm exciting. I think this is going to be an exciting match. But I think it would have been better served, like I said, if you would have swapped Orton and LA Knight.
Yeah.
But I do agree that with this dynamic, I see Logan Paul retaining.
Yeah, I see him retaining as well, but I also see that we are going to have a crazy spot with an RKO. And I
Yes.
think we're going to get it with Logan Paul receiving it. As how, I don't know, maybe what's his name? KSI? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Might get it
yeah.
in the Prime bottle
Again,
mascot suit.
yeah.
Yeah. I can see that happening, but I think this is the match we're gonna see a wild spot. There's tons of matches, and we're gonna get to another one pretty soon, but this is the one where we're gonna get a really good RKO from this year for sure. So let's move on to Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso, the brothers facing off. I haven't been this excited for a sibling match since probably Bret Hart and Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10. Even, I don't know, twins facing off against each other at WrestleMania. I think this is something that they were dreaming about in their bedroom growing up. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that they have manifested. And I think with the story of the bloodline and the story of Jay being the element to break off from the bloodline, Jimmy still being a part of it, I think this is a very important match that not a lot of people are talking about. With that being said, though, I I see Jay winning. I see Jay winning, and I see him getting the upper hand on Jimmy after all these years of the story that they've been telling. And I don't know, he's gonna yeet him to another dimension. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. I agree with you because, you know, since coming over to Raw, obviously Jay set out to not only separate himself from the bloodline, but also establish himself as a single star, get some singles gold. But every single time that Jay has gone after singles gold, Jimmy Uso has cost him that opportunity. And so I think, you know, when it matters the most, Jimmy has cost Jay. But I think because of that, I think now it's time that Jay finally gets back at Jimmy and defeats him on the grand stage of WrestleMania. Or, you know, they could have some crazy twist where Jay goes back to the bloodline. I don't even know anymore. This bloodline story has so many twists and turns. Nothing can really, you know, surprise me anymore. But we'll see what happens. But I do agree with you. I think because Jimmy has cost Jay so many opportunities and all of that now it's time for Jay to get his proper revenge so he can properly set out on being main event Jey Uso and potentially getting his first place of singles gold. But at first, he has to get over that hurdle of Jimmy Uso. I do think, though, I would be shocked if Solo Sikoa didn't play some part in this match, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. I also think again going to like night 1 or night 2, like which match is going to be on which night.
Mm.
I think it depends because if it's going to be night 1 and we're getting
Hmm.
the tag match with Rock and Roman, I could see Jimmy winning. But if it's going to be night 2 when we're having Cody and Roman face
Yeah.
off one on one, I can see Jay winning. So I think it's a toss up. Overall, I do see Jay winning. But again, this is a match that really plays
Hmm.
into all of the elements going into the story
Hmm.
of the bloodline. Really like the bloodline finishing their story with WrestleMania. So this is gonna be a fun match though. I can't wait. I can't wait for this one.
I think this would be better served on night one. I don't know. On night one, there is still a potential that Jey Uso could potentially get involved in this tag team match, like kind of like you said,
Hmm.
um, later in the evening if he and Jimmy already finished their stuff up. There's a potential that Jay could get involved in the Seth Cody thing, but we'll see what happens.
We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. I'm really excited for that match. But this next match, LA Knight versus AJ Styles. I will say this is we were talking about thing matches that we were passionate about before recording. This is a match that I'm not very passionate about going into WrestleMania weekend. The only thing I can really say is I think LA Knight should win just to keep up with the momentum that he's had. I think it's kind of criminal that he doesn't have at least a title shot, not a world heavyweight title shot, at least like intercontinental
Yeah, that's
United
that's what
States,
I
you
was
know?
thinking. I thought WrestleMania, I think a lot of people were in the same boat as me where we thought it would be either IC or United States Championship time to win a title at WrestleMania, but which is why I think they would have been better served by swapping him and Randy for this, or hell, even Kevin in LA Knight, you know. But yeah, like I said, I do foresee LA Knight. I mean, that would be crazy if they stop his wave. If they're not going to give him a title, they at least let him win in his first singles match on the WrestleMania stage. That is the very least that they could do. Otherwise, you kind of risk, you know, him losing that momentum and in the popularity if they start booking him, you know, on a losing track. I think if he's not going to win a title, a win on the WrestleMania stage would suffice. I will say so.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly think that's the only thing to say about this
Yeah.
match. Will it be a good match? We'll see. I think we'll see.
Mm.
What night will this be on?
Probably night two.
Yeah, I see this as a night 2 match. I
It,
do.
it's kind of, I mean, it's different dynamics, but it is feeling a little bit like an Edge and AJ Styles match, you know, where it's not the,
Hmm.
and I love Edge, but again, it's not the most like strongly booked kind of, people aren't oh, man, this isn't necessarily the match that people are going in like, yeah, it's a little bit just how it's been booked. It's a little bit forgettable. There's bigger matches, um,
Yeah.
on the card that people are thinking about. But I do think it has the potential to be a dark horse. AJ and LA are both great in ring performers. It could be a dark horse match.
It could be.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I think the one thing carrying that match is the body cams that they've been doing
That's
throughout
fair.
each
Mm-hmm.
week, but we're going to have to see. Um, let's get into a high risk match. Really, the ladder
Yeah.
match. It is the ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. It is Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa
Mm-hmm.
versus Awesome Truth, The Miz and R-Truth versus New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, who do not have tag team names, but it's okay.
A Town Down
Or
Under.
maybe
I heard that they were called. So
that's awful. And then Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate for this as well. This is going to be a crazy match. And I'm glad that ladder matches are officially back on WrestleMania.
yeah.
This is going to be a wild, wild match. And I have two predictions for this match just because there's way too many people and I can't just pick one team. The first being, and I think it's obvious and I think everyone wants it because it's going to be a great WrestleMania moment, is The Miz and R-Truth.
Yeah.
For the undisputed WWE Tag Championships. Why not? Let's razzle dazzle. Let's have a little fun with the tag division with them holding the championships. But I would also wouldn't be mad to see the New Day winning, because it could possibly be a nice little reset for the tag division. Like, they have to split those titles, and so I think maybe it would be a good, like, a palate cleanse, so to say, if New Day wins, and then they could go on and have more extravagant matches against DIY, against A Town Down Under. Uh, but that's my prediction for it. Other than that, this is going to be a fun match. I almost don't even care who wins. I'm just in it for the shenanigans of it all.
Who's to say that they couldn't split the titles at WrestleMania? I've
Are you
seen
giving me a scoop?
I've seen theory. It's just a theory. I've seen theories floating around, but they make logical sense. If you're gonna split them in any way, R-Truth is the perfect person, because again, it's a ladder match. You're gonna have both the Raw and SmackDown tag team titles hanging up above.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
R-Truth would be the perfect person to not realize that you have to grab both of them, and he only grabs one set, which would be probably the Raw tag team championship since they're on Raw. And then Miz is like, yo, we need both. But by that point, one of the SmackDown teams, whether it's A-Town Down Under or New Catch Republic or somebody, grabs the SmackDown tag team titles, so then they're split. And then you probably, I don't know how you would figure Judgment Day getting into a rematch. I don't know how that would work, but if there's any scenario to do it, this is kind of the perfect way to do it, especially with R-Truth in there. I think even if they're not split, I do think that they're going to do a little, I don't think that they're going to hold them for long, but I do think we are going to see Awesome Truth get a little bit of a glory moment in 2024 in a tag team title run, because it's been a while since we've legit, outside of the 24/7 championship, in R-Truth run. It's been a very long time.
Yeah.
So I think if it's just keeping them the same, I think Awesome Truth. If they're splitting them, I still think Awesome Truth, and then probably A-Town Down Under, because they're kind of heels. So, but regardless, I don't see Damian and Finn Balor retaining here. But I do agree that this is going to be, there's so many spots that they can do with ladders, so many innovative things. So I think, again, this is kind of an underrated gem. It's going to be very exciting.
Yeah. You could also pull off, if you remember a few years ago when R-Truth competed in the Royal Rumble and he
Yes.
brought out the
Yeah.
ladder. It
Yeah.
could be he's in this ladder match and he thinks it's a Royal Rumble. Like, you
Oh,
can
yeah,
play
yeah.
up a lot of comedy with
Yeah.
this match. And there's a lot of people that could do some crazy spots like Johnny Gargano. I'd be
Hmm.
excited to see what he's got up his sleeve. Even Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate as well. But this is a match where it's like, I don't care who wins, I'm winning, because this is
Yeah.
about to be a crazy
Yeah.
crazy match.
I agree.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But another fun match in which I am a little tossed up with my prediction, and it's the Intercontinental Championship with Gunther as champion facing off against Sami Zayn. I know a lot of us are heartbroken because we all wanted Chad Gable
Yeah.
to be in that match. I still think he should be a part of that match. I think that, Sammy main evented last year and they wanted to have, something for Sami Zayn. Um, I truly think that Chad Gable should have been in this, and it would have been great to see him defeat Gunther. Seems like they have more plans for Gunther down the road. I don't see Sammy beating Gunther with the streak that he's had. I just don't see that, and I see Gunther retaining.
So do I, but also for the added fact that Bash in Berlin is also in a couple months, which is, in Europe, there's going to be a lot of people with cheering on Gunther. It's not exactly a homecoming, but it's kind of a homecoming. So I think that he's going to hold on to the IC title until then. I would say he would go into the World Heavyweight Championship picture, but with the timing of Punk possibly coming back at that time, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, I think they're going to hold off a little bit until we get Gunther in the World Heavyweight Championship picture. So I think he's going to carry this IC title through at least Bash in Berlin. So August, September, I think. I don't know what pay-per-view is going to be in between Bash in Berlin and Survivor Series, but that might be a place for him to lose it, if not Survivor Series. So also for that reason, I think that he's going to retain here. I don't know. I don't know at this point who he eventually loses to. I think it should have been Chad Gable. Maybe it is Chad Gable, just not now. Maybe it is at Bash in Berlin. I don't know. But yeah, I do think that Gunther is retaining as well.
Yeah. And I love Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I am a big Sami Zayn fan, but I just don't think this is his match. But I do think, again, they're really both great in
Yeah.
the ring individually. So it is going to be a good match. It's going to be an entertaining one. And the chop fest, just Gunther laying into
Sammy is gonna be
Sammy.
so red.
Oh my god, he's gonna be redder than his hair.
Yeah. I won't be mad. Don't get me wrong. I won't be mad if Sammy wins. Sammy is already a 3-time IC champion. He's still one of WWE's most beloved stars. So I won't be mad if Sammy beats Gunther. But I think with Bash in Berlin kind of looming very closely, I think you're going to want Gunther to walk in as a champion of some form.
Yeah, yeah. Unless again you have him go off to face whoever wins the
Yeah.
World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, that'd
Yeah.
be fantastic. And I think that
Yeah.
would be a good way to really solidify, like, Gunther is officially in the main title scene. We've always had this image for him,
Yeah.
and to have that moment with the hometown crowd would be really great for him. So
Hmm.
I don't know, fingers crossed, but still gonna be a good match.
Yeah.
Either way. Now let's get into. I think I would predict you're very passionate about this match. I am very passionate about this match. This is the Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. What do you think of the story so far going into this, especially from Monday Night Raw last week when Dominic Mysterio got his ass laid out?
They've getting more. The thing is that the story hasn't really presented itself until the last week or two because Becky Lynch has kind of been preoccupied with Liv Morgan and Nia Jax. I think that would make more sense if this was a 4-way or a 3-way with Liv and or Nia. But Becky has been preoccupied, so it's taken a little bit away from it. But I think regardless, even if there was no story, I think it is a marquee match that a lot of people are looking forward to because this is only going to be the second time that Becky and Rhea are ever facing off. The first time was in NXT. I believe it was either a no contest or Rhea emerged victorious. I can't quite remember, but it's been a long time, and it's going to be their first televised singles match on the main roster, and especially for the title, it's going to be huge. This one, I this one I think I'm the most unsure of, because it could go either way, but there's also the rumors that, I mean, Becky actually confirmed it, that her contract is up in what, June, so like 2 months to go, and we don't know if she's resigned. I think she will. um Man, I this is a toss up for me. I think I have to go with Rhea Ripley though. I think because part of me like wants Liv Morgan to be the one to end her story, or I could also see, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but there is always Charlotte's return and her coming back. Every time she comes back, a lot of the time she's thrust into title matches, so that could very well be the case. I don't know who's gonna be the one to dethrone Rhea, but I think Rhea's gonna retain here. I think it's gonna be a heck of a match, though, regardless.
It's going to be one hell of a match for sure. I think both of these women are incredible performers. And I am setting my prediction that Rhea Ripley is going to retain her momentum again. She is the hottest act in
Yeah.
that company right now. And jumping off of what you were saying, yes, the last time that they faced off was at NXT. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2019.
19. Yeah.
So 2019, think about where both of these women were.
Yeah.
NXT, Rhea Ripley was like so fresh into the game. She's just about to enter the main roster. And then Becky Lynch just finished main eventing WrestleMania 35, becoming
Mhm.
Becky Two Belts. So for these two women to be fully established now within their careers and facing off at WrestleMania for the second time, these are two individuals that we're going to see some classic matches moving forward after the classic match that they potentially are going to put on this weekend. But with that, Rhea is going to win. That is my prediction. Becky's contract is up. I would predict, if I'm setting a prediction for that, I don't think Becky's going anywhere.
Yeah.
I would love Becky to have a Japan run. That's me, my brand, love Joshi. Would love to see her have some kind of run with Stardom, especially. But who's to say? That's just a wild
If
prediction just
yeah,
from my
and
heart
and
and
even if
soul.
she's not, even if she is leaving, I don't think they're gonna. Then again, though, they had her like a 45-day run with the NXT championship, but I don't think they would have her have another short title reign if she were leaving. So again, this is the match I am the most unsure about because I could see it going either way, but
Mhm.
I do have Rhea retaining as well.
I just know if Rhea wins, the Becky Lynch story headlines of is she, won't they, will they,
Yeah.
won't they resign is going to be red hot after
She could disappear
WrestleMania.
for a bit, but then I think that is that's kind of a compelling story though, because we don't know. It's a compelling story. We don't know whether is she coming back, is she not? Then she pops up, yeah, I'm actually back.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Who's to say? I don't know. But this next match, I have been waiting such a long time for Bailey to have her moment with
Yeah.
this match. Io Sky versus Bailey for the WWE Women's Championship. What are our thoughts? I love the story going into
So
it.
do
This is
I.
this is the number one story besides Cody and Rock and Roman and all that. I think like that's grand, like of course that story is very invested in all of us are invested in that, but this one is one that I've been invested in ever since Bailey returned at SummerSlam and brought in Io Sky and Dakota Kai, because eventually all three of these women, who was going to turn on who, it was still going to be a really great match going into it, and I think this is going to be a good match. I would hope Paramore plays out Bailey and Io Sky. Poppy plays out Io Sky. But this is purely the match for the workers. It's undeniable that Bailey needs her WrestleMania moment. She entered WrestleMania 33 as champion, which is like, that's great. But I think this is it. She's won the Royal Rumble. That was like her last what, she's a Grand Slam winner now. She's won the Money in the Bank. That was one more accomplishment that she needed in
Hmm.
her career. I think finally getting that WrestleMania championship win, a singles win at WrestleMania and at that WrestleMania 40. This is Bayley's time for sure. And that's Io Sky, I think that she's been doing a good job with the championship, carrying it through with Damage Control and winning it and Money in the Bank, or no, SummerSlam, winning the Money in the Bank. I've just been fully invested in this story. I've loved everything that they've been doing, and I am predicting that Bayley's going to have her moment. What do you think?
I am as well. But it's not going to be it's not going to be a clean match. Like it's going to be a banger, but it is
Yeah.
not going to be a clean match. Damage Control, regardless, I think if they're on different nights or same nights, I think is going to run interference. Dakota, depending how Asuka and her knee is
Mm-hmm.
potentially, but Asuka, Kyrie, and Dakota, I think are absolutely going to run into this match. I mean, they've also been playing with that story though, with Bianca Belair being hesitant to help Bayley, but I think this would really be I think it would be a shocker, to have Bianca Belair help fend off Damage Control in this match on the outside. That's just I don't know if that's actually going to play out, but that's a potential angle they could run where Bianca's been so hesitant, but then she puts it all aside and then ends up helping Bayley, kind of a story there. But I think regardless, like you said though, however it goes down, and Bayley is the right call here. I think she's been the leader of Damage Control. She kind of took a little bit of a backseat for a while, while Dakota and Io were tag champs, and then obviously Io winning Money in the Bank and then getting the women's championship. It's now Bayley's time to step back into the spotlight, and technically win her first championship at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
Yeah, I can't wait for that image. I mean, like the image of her winning the Royal Rumble and the
Yeah.
entire crowd pointing with her, that's going to be very emotional for people that have been following Bayley since NXT, since TakeOver in
Yeah.
Brooklyn, her Iron Woman match, being the first Iron Woman match, finally entering the main roster, getting a little lost in the main roster, turning heel. Like I think it's going to be full circle for Bayley and everyone that's been really campaigning and being on her side. Safe to say, her best friend's not saving her, Mercedes Monet. Pretty safe to
Yeah.
say that
Yes.
she's not going to show up at WrestleMania, even though there's still a lot of people that believe in that, and I think that's cute. I hope they continue living in their Delulu land, but I don't think she's gonna show up, guys, but that's okay. This is the match. This is the match that I'm looking forward to the most. This is my number one match going into WrestleMania this weekend. So I'm very very excited for this one as well. And yeah, that's my prediction for that. But let's move on to the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Um, this last like bit of the predictions is pretty hefty just because the involvement of Cody, Roman, Seth, like Rock, Drew McIntyre now especially. I I want to see Drew winning. I want to see it. I want to see him win. I think his character's been really great so far. I know that we were wanting Seth and Punk for WrestleMania. I think that Seth will get that singles main event for WrestleMania, but I see Drew McIntyre winning. He continues to talk a lot of shit towards CM Punk, and if CM Punk is going to return at SummerSlam, I'm basing my predictions off of rumors and what's supposed to happen. So if Punk is supposed to come back by SummerSlam, I think it would be cute to have a program with him and Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Will Punk win the World Heavyweight Championship? I don't know. Talk to me towards SummerSlam, but I want Drew to have, and also I feel like they've been really trying for Drew McIntyre to have his WrestleMania moment in front of a crowd. Maybe this is it.
I think it is, but I think it's going to be short lived. I do agree. I believe we are going to be getting Drew and CM Punk at again, assuming Punk is cleared, at SummerSlam or sometime this summer for the World Heavyweight Championship. However, I don't think this reign of Drew's is going to be linear because there is another factor going into this, and that is Damian Priest, the Money in the Bank winner. I have loved Drew's run. You were talking about people being Delulu. I absolutely love Drew's run as this delusional, savage wild card. And, he hasn't said the word conspiracy outright, but it's kind of been a conspiracy against him because in every big title match that actually every title match that he's been in the last 3 years, he has lost, but
Yeah.
it's because he lost that makes him more compelling, and he's been leaning into that. So I think he is going to win and beat Seth Rollins. It's going to be night 2, obviously, of WrestleMania. However, I think it would be so compelling for Drew to have that moment, finally, but also have it soured and kind of continue the narrative of having these moments ruined by a Damian Priest cashing in. We've seen him and Damian butt heads
Mm-hmm.
in the past. I think this is the most primetime opportunity to have it happen. Damian Priest's reign is not going to be long, but also the clock is ticking. And
Mm-hmm.
unless they're going to have Damian Priest cash in like the week before Money in the Bank, and have a short reign, I think this is the only other time you have for it to be believable, and also lean into that narrative of Drew having his moments soured. I think he'll gain it back, obviously, but I think in that moment, I think it'd be really compelling for Drew to win, but then Damian Priest to come in and cash in and defeat him. His reign might be a week, but I think again it leans into that narrative of Drew being kind of this conspiracy victim. And just one more hurdle for him to get over. And it also takes care of the Damian Priest question
Yeah,
of
that's
Money
true.
in the Bank. I don't know.
I forgot. He was Money in the Bank. Senor Money in the Bank. I
Yeah.
totally forgot. But if he loses the tag titles, it'd be great
I
for him to
think they
cash
are
in.
going to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it would be really cool if that match happens the same night Rhea Ripley retains, and then you get that final
Yeah.
photo of Damian Priest and Rhea
Mm-hmm.
Ripley holding up their
Mm-hmm.
their titles. They're pretty much the same titles, really. I mean, designs, so it'd be cool to see them carrying it, but oh, Drew McIntyre, I feel like this is just gonna fuel his
But
character
I
even more.
wanted to
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
he's so good. Again, it leans into that narrative that he's been pushing. He
yeah.
hasn't said conspiracy, but it kind of is. Every time he finally, the stories, he finally gets that victory after 3 years of losing. Oh wait, actually, never mind. Here comes Damian Priest.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Drew regains it, and they take care of the loose ends with him and Seth. But I think in that moment, it's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I finally got what I wanted, but psych, actually. We'll see. But I think that would be the perfect way to do Damian Priest's cash in. Otherwise, there's really no other time to do it than except maybe a week before. I saw people throwing around theories that Damian Priest will cash in a week before Money in the Bank and then lose in his title defense because of the new men's Money in the Bank winner cashing in. That I don't know. I don't know,
I don't
but
know. There's so
we'll
much that
see.
can happen. There's so much that can happen. Um, but let's move on. These final 2 matches, huge matches going into WrestleMania 40. Uh, let's let's start off with the match that's probably going to be on night 1. I think it is
It
going to
is
be on
going to
night
be a
1,
night one.
which is The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. This is filmed on Monday. I will be at Monday Night Raw. I cannot wait to see how they set this up on Monday Night Raw tonight and even on SmackDown. They've been doing a really great job on Monday Night Raw too. So tonight especially, we'll see how it goes. And I'm sure everyone will let me know, hey, you're right, in the comment section. But I feel this is the match that the Bloodline has to win. And I only say that because of my prediction for night 2. I think first of all, I don't think The Rock is going to come back, do all this hoopla, pivoting storylines and everything, showing up at WrestleMania 40 and losing. That's like a little bit of a logical, I guess, insight or whatever prediction. But the story going into night 2 from night 1, I think Roman wins and he goes into night 2 a little cocky, a little overly confident. As to whether or not Seth is going to turn on Cody, I'm not sure. I think this is the match that needs to be overbooked as shit. This is the match that I want everyone to come out. Everyone with the bloodline, everyone that's been teaming with Cody and Seth, even, I don't know, bring out Stone Cold Steve Austin so that he can
Who
throw
the
out
hell told
stunners.
you tonight was open? Never mind. I don't
Oh
know.
my god, yes. Bring out Brandy Rhodes. Bring out Brandy Rhodes. Cody's daughter just gives The Rock like a rock bottom. I don't know. A crossroads. Who knows?
I would love to see Brandy slap The Rock or Mama Rhodes slap The Rock. I think
Oh, yeah.
it's warranted for this.
Yeah.
And there's probably a chance that it actually happens. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know where our predictions for night 2 are heading, whether we're gonna agree or disagree. But I do agree with you. I think that Rock and Roman are going to win night 1. Seth unfortunately takes the pin, and then I think he takes the pin on night 2 in his match. I think, man, there's going to be a lot of shenanigans in this match, but because we're predicting Rock and Roman to win, that means it's going to be Bloodline rules, assuming we're correct, in night 2, which I think is going to have even more shenanigans, and I think it's going to have an easier, crazier ending with how my prediction is going. But I do agree, Rock is not going to come back, lose. I mean, I don't know. They've done so much pivoting. It would be weird for them to lose, have Rock lose after doing all of that on night 1 anyway. Night 2 is a different story, however.
Let's get into night 2. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship again. 2 years in a row. Cody has been campaigning for an entire year to finally finish the story. He has won the Royal Rumble. We don't speak about what happened the week after the Royal Rumble and then the Las Vegas, kickoff celebration, prep rally, everything.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know what happened on that SmackDown after the Royal Rumble. That's a blank in my history. It's like blip. Thanos just snapped and I arrived here at WrestleMania week. But this is it. This is the match. And it has to be the match. Because not only does Cody need to finish the story, Roman also has a story to finish. He's been champion for 4 years now. He's on a historic run. And we really are not going to see something like this in a long time. And I think it has to be Cody's night. It has to be Cody's night. He's finishing the story. Ella, you're looking like you might be disagreeing.
No,
with me.
I agree with you, but I'm also not going in full force because I did that last year and I was pissed by the outcome. There is I don't like saying the word acknowledge because anybody who knows me, I am not a Roman Reigns fan, like, of the character at all. But I have to acknowledge that there is a legit possibility that they could extend this reign simply for the fact that they want Roman to overtake Hogan's reign in September. That's fine. I'm kind of here for that if it gets, Hogan out of that top 3 history. However, I also at the same time, I cannot go another. Can we swear on this? I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
I cannot go another fucking year of this reign. I cannot. I already went an extra year that I did not think was going to happen. So I agree. I think, if they want, I think Cody winning outweighs, that history thing that they might want to extend. But Cody winning 2 back-to-back Royal Rumbles just to have the same fucking outcome is asinine. It's just a waste. It is such a waste of back-to-back Rumble wins. Like, what is the point then? Like,
Yeah.
it would make no sense to me. Rock is also talking about the long game. By our predictions, this match is going to be under Bloodline rules. But just because it's under Bloodline rules doesn't necessarily mean all all of the Bloodline members have to be in sync. You know, Rock keeps talking about the long game. I think what a way for to justify Rock turning on Roman in Bloodline rules. There is no disqualifications in that. You know, in fact, it's encouraged for the Bloodline to interfere. So if they're gonna set up, I don't. There's no way Cody wins clean. What a turn of events it would be for Rock to turn on Roman to set up WrestleMania 41 or I don't know, SummerSlam maybe. Who knows? Um, I think if they're going to set up Rock and Roman, this is the way to do it, where Rock turns on Roman on night 2 and Cody finishes his story. 2 birds with 1 stone. But there, like I said, there is that little thing in the back of my mind. I'm like, are they going to fucking extend this again just to get to September? It's always a possibility. But I think the pros of Cody winning this
Yeah.
far outweigh the pros of Roman retaining. So for that reason,
yeah.
Cody wins, finishes his story, Rock turns on Roman.
Fingers crossed.
I swear.
I agree. But the thing is that like they're trying to make it like he has to beat Hogan. And I feel like at this point, would it be nice for someone to knock Hogan off that? Yeah, of course it would. Nobody likes him anymore. He's go home, old man. We don't want you here. But he is being reported that he's somehow going to be involved with WrestleMania. He was involved with the opening video package going into the Royal Rumble. That guy's not going anywhere anytime soon. Do I hate to say that and admit it? Yes, absolutely. Fuck Hulk Hogan. Shout out to Iron Sheik, you know? But my thing is, I feel like it's okay to not accomplish that record if it's for the sake of finally giving Cody the title. We're out of this, you know, blip of Roman Reigns conquering and being champion for 4 years now. And even last year, like, you know, Cody lost, but he was really carrying the concept of this match going into WrestleMania 40, being so invested and campaigning of finishing the story. We're all doing it together. And I feel like at this point, you know, the crybabies, the Cody crybaby, you know, situation that happened, pivoting the story, it may feel like it's like throwing a bone, but it's really not. It's just doing the right thing, because if you're going to have Cody lose, sorry to say, but that's going to be the worst decision that has ever been made, possibly in WrestleMania main event history.
And it just nullifies, again, a history making, the third person to win back-to-back Rumbles. It just nullifies those Royal Rumble wins. It's like, I feel it's like a wasted time then at that point if he doesn't win, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, the story's been good, but in the grand scheme of things, it's honestly, to me, a giant waste of time if Cody does all of that just to lose again.
And it would damage Cody so much. His momentum, like he's the hottest.
People are still going to cheer him, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's doing all the Make-A-Wishes. You know, the wrestling club is going to come. He can't lose in front of the kids and even his own kid. He can't. I
mean, John Cena lost in front of the Make-A-Wish kids last year.
I mean,
but shit.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I don't know. Cody's got to.
We could also get, even if Rock doesn't turn on Roman, there's still a chance, you know, Cena and Stone Cold, you know, there's a possibility Jey Uso might come in and I would be actually surprised if Jey Uso wasn't involved in this match somehow.
Yeah.
There's so many possibilities, assuming that it's Bloodline rules. But even if it isn't Bloodline rules, like something crazy could still happen.
Yeah. Something wild needs to happen, I feel. With this.
It's also a Roman Reigns match, so even if it's not Bloodline rules, we're gonna have some sort of ref bump and all this shit.
Yeah, a ref bump, ref is down, and then Tamina runs out.
Rikishi maybe? Who knows?
Rikishi maybe. You never know. Mm-hmm. You really never know. They might be at ringside too. Yeah. So, but Cody, it's gotta be Cody. Cody's the man. He's gotta finish the story. I'm not a Cody crybaby, but I do believe that man needs to finally win the gold. And again, ever since he's come to WWE, WrestleMania 38, the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania 38 was him already campaigning.
I was there,
that story. So he's got to do it.
I can't go another fucking year. I can't, Alex. I can't.
It's okay. I don't think we will. I don't know.
I said that last year
I
and I was wrong. I was speechless.
don't know.
I was literally speechless last year. I had no words. So who knows?
Dude, I will say last year, my final point going into the predictions. So last year at WrestleMania, I was in the press box of SoFi Stadium. Cody's entrance was so loud. I've been at WrestleMania 33 where the entire building is shaking because of
Mhm.
such a huge pop. And being in California and Cody enters WrestleMania night 2 and the huge pop that he got, the press box was shaking so much I thought there was an earthquake.
Oh my god.
And like there's just so many people behind Cody Rhodes, and even when he lost last year at night 2, the air was sucked out of the stadium. I would say the equivalent to the way that the air was sucked out of the stadium at WrestleMania 30 when Undertaker lost the streak. It felt the same way because we were all convinced that Cody was going to finish the
Yeah.
story. You got to do it this year. You have to do it. I think even more like that stadium is going to go bonkers when he does. All of the streamers on Twitch and YouTube within the wrestling content creating world is gonna go wild. You gotta have this moment. We're finally, out of the Roman Reigns era and entering the American Nightmare era. We've got to do it at WrestleMania 40. Please, for the love
That's
of
what
God,
I'm
we can't
saying.
take another
Yeah,
year.
I'm not gonna go in full force again because last year happened, and I was on a call with 3 of my friends during that main event. I was speechless. My one friend was crying. She could not believe it. My other friend was in denial and was like, "No, no, the match isn't over. The referee's gonna restart it." Like that's how like it shook us all. I
Mm-hmm.
was literally I felt like the life was sucked out of me at that ending. I was so speechless. I can't go in full force again, but like I agree, it should absolutely be Cody Rhodes winning.
Yeah. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. We're a few
Yeah.
nights away. WrestleMania 40. Any last thoughts about the event? I'm really looking forward to being in Philadelphia
I
and
hope I hope they
yeah.
add some sort of women's battle royal or something, even if it's
Mm,
on the pre-show. I think the women should get another match of some sort. And again, there's still some time. We don't know. There's still reports of 1 or 2 matches possibly being added. We'll see.
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for a battle royal. Would love to see Chelsea Green
Oh yeah,
win
yeah.
that battle royal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agree.
Tiffany Stratton is a good possibility as well, but I think Chelsea Green definitely deserves that moment for a WrestleMania Battle Royal win. So, Ella, thank you so much for joining me for this prediction
Thank you for having
show.
me.
Where can everyone catch your beautiful face?
You can find me on Twitter. I don't call it that other thing. It's Ella J. If you go to the link in my bio there, all my links to all my projects, podcasts, and writing are all there in one convenient place.
Love that. Love that. And you guys can catch me here if you're watching this. Subscribe to the channel. You can follow me at Queen of the Ring with 2Gs over on Twitter, _Queen of the Ring, over on Instagram, twitch.tv/Queen of the Ring, over there. So many links. You can also go to the description below and follow all the links that I'll have for myself and Ella. And thanks for watching. Enjoy WrestleMania, and we'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.